Bonjour, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 39 on YouTube. So, I just want to get on here pretty quickly. I want to make some predictions for UFC Fight Night in Vegas. This is the last event of the year for the UFC. Our main event tonight is a middleweight fight between Jared Cannonier and Sean Strickland. This is going to be a good fight. He'll probably be standing the entire fight. So you could be looking at a stand-up fight for about 25 minutes. 5 rounds of striking. And there might be some grappling. And maybe, I don't know, maybe something else. But other than that, this should be a good fight to end the year. In a way, I kind of like both fighters. I believe they may have both lost their last fight. Jared Cannonier, he actually had lost to Israel Adesanya when he challenged for his middleweight championship, but fell short. I think that was a unanimous decision for Israel Adesanya. Sean Strickland, he was on his way up too, until he met Alex Pereira before Alex Pereira got his title shot against Israel Adesanya and defeated Israel Adesanya to win the middleweight championship. So this fight, I am kind of leaning towards Jared Cannonier. I think he's going to take it to Sean Strickland, and you could be looking at Jared Cannonier raising his hand tonight at the end of the fight. Next up, we have a co-main event between Arman Saruyan and Damir Ismagulov. This one is going to be a good fight. Again, this might actually go the distance as well. I'm actually leaning towards Ismagulov to win this one. Next up, we have Amir Albazi going up against Alessandro Costa. Probably another good fight as well. I'm picking Amir Albazi to win this one. Next up, we have Alex Correas going up against Julian Erosa. But I'm picking Julian Erosa to win this one. I'm just haven't really bought into Alex Correas. He has his moments and then he has his downfalls. But he's, sometimes he's alright in the UFC, but, nowhere close to title contention. I did see him once on The Ultimate Fighter, and he takes after Bruce Lee, so that's pretty cool. But tonight, Julian Erosa should win. Next up, we have Drew Dober and Bobby Green. That one might be a good fight. Picking probably Drew Dober to win this one. Next up, we have Cody Brundage going up against Michal Oleksiejczuk. I'm gonna pick Oleksiejczuk to win this one, and that is your main card for tonight. And then we get into the prelim portion. We got Cheyenne Belismas and Corey McKenna. I'm leaning towards Cheyenne Belismas to win this one. This might actually become it might go to decision. Next up, we have Jake Matthews and Matthew Slameshberger. This one, I have a feeling Jake Matthews might win this one. Next up, we have Saeed Nurmagomedov and Saeed Yokub Karamanov. This one should be a good one. Might be at a dark horse for fight of the night. But I'm picking Saeed Nurmagomedov to win this one. Next up, we have Rafa Garcia and Maheshash. I I did hear that Maheshash did not make weight, but I think they're gonna still fight. Um, I think like the penalty for missing weight is like 20 or 30% of the purse given to the other fighter. But I'm picking Rafa Garcia to win this one. Next up, we have Brian Battle going up against Riyad Faredinov. Um, should be a good one, but I'm picking Riyad Faredinov to win this one. Next up, we have David Dvorak going up against Manel Cape. Uh, that one might be a tough one, but I'm picking Manel Cape to win this one. And then the first fight of the entire fight card, we have Sergey Morzarov and Journey Newson. Picking Sergey Morazov to win this one. So those are my picks for UFC Fight Night tonight. It's the final fight card of the year, and then we get a new slate of fights to watch for 2023. Can you believe it? It's the end of the year. Next up, we have. I'm gonna make my picks for Week 15 of the NFL season. We already had seen the 49ers defeat the Seattle Seahawks. 49ers won 21-13 behind the this Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy. So the 49ers have lost their quarterbacks, number 1 and number 2, Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, but now they get to rely on their draft pick from the very last draft pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, Brock Purdy, and he gets to be thrown into the spotlight, and he is doing well because he won the last 2 games already. So it's good seeing Brock Purdy kind of do his thing, and that it's gotten really real that he is now in the NFL, and he's leading one of the best NFL teams out there with the best defense and an evolving offense that might carry them to the Super Bowl championship. This could be their year. So let's go through some of the games here. Right now, we have the Colts and the Vikings, and right now, with 10 minutes to go, the Colts are ahead 36-21. Does not look good for the Vikings, who started off pretty well, but now they are starting to look like pretenders now. No longer looking like a Super Bowl contender. So originally, I was going to lean towards the Vikings, but it looks like the Colts might pull it off. So there's actually 2 more games on Saturday, actually. We have the Ravens and Browns. I don't think Lamar Jackson is playing today, so I'm leaning towards the Browns to pull off the upset over the Ravens, which should make a very interesting race for the AFC North division title race, because the Bengals have now hit their stride, and it looks like they might be they might overtake the Ravens. But fantasy-wise, I actually am dependent on Lamar Jackson to help me win my championship, and the one I'm most invested in is my winner-take-all one, where most likely, let's see, with 12 teams, and I think the buy-in was $150, so you're looking at possibly $1,800 on the line. And for me, even though it's week 15, but even if I lose this week, I would technically have been in first place for all 15 weeks, and I would go into the 14 playoff for week 16 and 17 as number 1 seed. So being the number 1 seed can be tough, and a lot of pressure is on me. But I feel like I have the best team overall the whole year. But I have a feeling that I might get through it, and I might have some decent options. I do have Aaron Rodgers as my backup, my first backup, and he's okay, but I don't think he had a great season compared to most other seasons. So it's good to have a backup quarterback around this time, given when your star quarterback who got you all these points and wins is now going through a 3 week injury stint, and they might actually not bring him back until he's fully healthy. So I think today is the second week of the 3 weeks, and they said that his diagnosis was that he was going to be out for 1 to 3 weeks for the injury that he had. So cross my fingers, he'll be somewhat healthy, 100% for the playoff stretch. Hopefully, I won't be gone in the first. I guess you could say it's the semifinals of our league. Um, or it could technically be a one and done, but I don't want to be a one and done. I actually want to be in the championship, and I want to win the whole thing again, and then I can start talking trash to the league because I've been scaling back and not try to do that because I don't want them to hate me. But if I'm winning the whole year, and it's been pretty silent the whole year, I think it's a good idea that just let the results speak for themselves. So I am trying to put together a great roster, and hopefully I made some additions to kind of be the winner at the end. So yeah, picking the Browns to beat the Ravens, but I think the Ravens might pick it up again down the stretch, and I think there is a winner take all between the Ravens and the Bengals in the next few weeks. So the nightcap for today's Saturday slate is actually Dolphins and Bills. I heard that it's going to be very cold, and it looks like Tua is starting to come back down to earth now. So I want to mention briefly here that the Chargers, when they faced the Dolphins in the Sunday Night Football game for Week 14, that game got flexed in to the spot because they thought that Tua versus Justin Herbert was going to be fireworks, and Justin Herbert did his job and he got the Chargers to the victory, while Dolphins they couldn't do it. So the Chargers won 23-17. They kind of kept a lid on Tua and the offense, and the Chargers just did whatever they could, get those touchdowns and get Justin Herbert a primetime victory, because I would have been pissed off and sad if the Chargers got all these primetime games and they lost every single one. And I'm glad they finally won one. And I'm actually going to the Rams-Chargers game on Sunday, January 1st, New Year's Day. And I hope that game it will not be flexed out, but I haven't heard anything yet because I already paid my ticket for that, and the ticket price was assuming that it'll be a primetime game. So if it's going to be demoted to become an afternoon game, I feel like I got a little gypped. But overall, I just want the Chargers to win that game, so that's the main important thing, right? So anywho, I just want to say Bills will beat the Dolphins. I feel like they will. It works out in the favor of the Chargers because if they win this week, that puts the Chargers in a very good position, moving from 8 to 7 to 6. Hopefully. Let me check on the score here. Oh, okay. With 8 minutes to go, Colts are still winning 36-21. So it looks like Colts are going to win that game. All right, Sunday slate. We have Eagles visiting the Bears. I'm picking the Eagles to win this one. Falcons are visiting the Saints. I think the Saints will win this one. I have Kamara on my team. Lions are visiting the Jets. I think the Lions are going to win this one. They're getting hot now and look pretty scary. And the Jets have to bring back their young quarterback, Zach Wilson, because Mike White got hurt pretty badly in the last week's game. And they don't want to go back to Joe Flacco. So I don't think it's going to go too well for the Jets. There's just a lot of drama between Zach Wilson and the team. So it looks like the Lions got things together and they're going to make that push. And the Lions are trying to chase down the Giants for that last playoff spot. So I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to outlast the Seahawks and the Giants. Next up, we have Steelers visiting the Panthers. Uh, I have a feeling that this is going to be an ugly game, but I think Panthers might actually win this one. It's weird how the Panthers started, and they actually look like they might have a shot at winning this NFC South division title and get that playoff spot after trading away Christian McCaffrey. Who knew that that might have sparked the whole thing where you just trade away your best player and still manage to claw your way to a very reachable goal of making the playoffs through your own division, which is terrible. Next up, we have Cowboys visiting the Jaguars. I've heard some mixed reviews that the Cowboys should win this one, but the Jaguars might put up a big fight. So I want to say Cowboys will win here, but Jaguars are like not that far away from becoming a contender. So they got maybe one or two or more pieces to kind of put things together and be a real contender for 2023. Chiefs and Texans. This is going to be in Houston, but I think Chiefs are going to handle the Texans pretty well. No doubt about that. Cardinals and Broncos. It's going to be an ugly game. Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray are not playing. Kyler Murray is actually out for the whole year for the Cardinals. And I think Russell Wilson just got cleared, but he's not going to play in this Broncos game. And there's like no point now because they are not going to make the playoffs. And but I have a feeling that the Broncos might actually pull out a close victory, a low-scoring victory over the Cardinals here. This one I'm a little worried about. Patriots are visiting the Raiders in Vegas. I don't know which one I want to root for, but I feel like the Patriots are going to win this one. But I want the Raiders to win in the sense that I don't want the Patriots to be ahead of the Chargers. Right now, the Patriots hold the tiebreaker over the Chargers for the seventh playoff spot at the moment, which is the final playoff spot. But I think it'll be a good close game. Raiders tend to have this thing where they tend to build a lead, but they tend to blow it. So, and I don't know if you guys remember, but the Raiders had actually were leading 16-3 on the Rams on on the Thursday Night Football for Week 14, and they lost it. They gave up 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes to lose 17-16 to the Rams, who were just a terrible team now. The team is falling apart. But who knows? This might be the wake-up call for the Raiders, and they might actually beat the Patriots, but I think the Patriots might win this one. So, yeah. I don't like to choose the Patriots in this situation, but I think the Patriots might actually pull it out. So, whoever, I don't know. It's pretty much a lose-lose for me. Not really a win-win. But there's still more time in the season. And next up, we have Chargers and Titans at SoFi Stadium. Both teams are 7-6. This would be a good matchup because both feel like this is a must-win for both teams. But I'm going to pick the Chargers because I think they might have... They got back Mike Williams. They got back Keenan Allen. I'm hoping the defense can hold up just enough to make the playoffs and make some splash. I would say, the Chargers are kind of a dark horse. Titans actually lost to the Jaguars last week. That was a big surprise, but I'm not too surprised because Jaguars are on their way up eventually. And Titans, they're kind of fallen here since they got blown out by the Eagles, and then now they lost to the Jaguars, and now they're facing the Chargers team who is trying to make it, and they're hungry. So Chargers will probably win a close one against Titans because, Derrick Henry is healthy, and, the Chargers are not great at the run defense. So I feel like the Chargers might do something here. So yeah, Chargers tomorrow, victory over Titans. Another good game on the slate tomorrow is Bengals are traveling to visit the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Bengals are going to win this one. Tom Brady might have figured out that even though this might be his last season, he doesn't have a lot with this team. He still has some good receivers with Mike Evans and stuff, and I think Godwin is there. But um, not having like the best running backs behind him, and the defense is just starting to get worn down. So Tom Brady can only do so much for the Buccaneers, but I feel like the Bengals should win a close one against the Buccaneers here. The Sunday night football game, we have Giants visiting the Washington Commanders. They tied the last time, but I feel like the Commanders should win against the Giants on prime time tomorrow night. Uh, I don't feel like it's going to be a tie this time. Commanders should probably win this one. And of course, they're both holding the 6 and 7 playoff spots. But once the Giants lose and the Lions win, I think it makes it even harder for the Giants to even keep their playoff spot because they have a hard schedule coming up. And the Lions have a very favorable schedule coming up. And if that's what's going to happen, it would only mean that the Giants are only going to be a half game ahead of the Lions with a few games left, and it's not going to look pretty for the Giants. But the Commanders are getting their stuff together, and they look pretty good, and I think they are a quality playoff team. So, yeah. And then the last game, Monday Night Football, we have Rams visiting the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if the Rams can pull something together and just keep, doing something to keep the fans happy. But, no playoff, I don't think is possible for either team, actually. But, I mean, you never know. But I kind of need, you know, Aaron Rodgers to kind of do well for a couple weeks, just in case Lamar Jackson does not help me on my fantasy team. So, but I think the Packers should pull out a close victory over the Rams, and it should be a fun game to watch. So those are my picks for the NFL Week 15. Follow them, make your own predictions if you like mine, or if you like something different from mine, and have fun with it, make some money off of it. So, what else? Um, oh, I just want to mention, I went to, I guess you could say 3 comedy shows this week. Um, on Wednesday, I went to Polywine, and it was for the Cash Comedy Show, which he usually does on Wednesday nights at the Polywine in Little Italy. It was actually my first time actually being in Little Italy, now that I found it. So I might make a frequent visit to Little Italy now and then. But for the show, Cash Habib, another great show again. I did come in a little bit late, so I did miss the set for Short Jake, because I think he had started the show. Um, I didn't hear much of Cash's stand up, but I think that was probably in the beginning, and so I'm not gonna really comment. I think I've kind of remember most of Cash's material anyway, so I'm not gonna grade Cash on anything on that. Short Jake, since I didn't see his set, I'm not gonna grade that either. But I did see Veronica Gordon. I thought her set was better than the last time I've heard her. So I think her set was um, 7.6 out of 10. It was decent. It has some good laughs, some dark moments too, but that's her set. That's her stuff. There was also, I believe his name is Dave Wright. Got to see his material. Um, Funny guy. I thought it was a 8 out of 10. He has a yogurt shop or ice cream shop in Pacific Beach, so I might actually visit his shop sometime soon, and have a good time. Um, the headliner of the Pally Wine Show for Cash Comedy was James Schrader. Uh, at first, it was a little slow at first because I think there was some sort of form that needed to be filled out by the people, and I think it was for material to help talk about stuff. But overall, he picked it up, and I thought he was a pretty funny guy. And I actually talked to all the comics after the show, except for um, no, I think I talked to everybody. Yeah. But yeah, they're all great people after the show. Got a picture with all of them. And yeah, um, James Schrader's show. Um, Funny guy. I thought I would say 8.1 out of 10. That's how funny I thought he was. And overall, got a lot of crowd reaction. And yeah. Um, I went to another show last night actually at the mic drop. I actually did two shows. We had the person that I was there to see, Greg Romero Wilson. I did see him at the Hollywood Roosevelt for the Well Dressed show, hosted by Josh Alleman. Oh man, Greg was super hilarious. I laughed my ass off. I would say Greg was a 9 out of 10. Um, 9 out of 10. Yeah, that sounds about right because I was laughing the whole time. He had a lot of great material. I didn't realize that he had a heart attack before and he survived. But for him to describe it and made it funny, I mean, that's great material. Um, uh, so yeah, and it was the show for Greg was hosted by KDK. It was actually my first time seeing her. She runs the shit show at the mic drop. I think on Wednesdays and Thursdays or something. So she's pretty cool. Great material, funny gal. I would say that she was like a 8.5 out of 10. Pretty funny. And then there was a feature comic in between Katie and Greg. It was Josh Nelson. First time seeing the guy. Um, really funny. I can relate because he says he's an uncle, and I'm the fun uncle of my family. So it's always great because I probably won't have kids for myself, but it's nice to have my nephew and my nieces kind of my nephews and my nieces to kind of look up to me and seeing that when they see me they have a good time and they like talking to me and I enjoy that. It gives me a lot of joy being a funkle. So back to Josh. Funny guy. I would say his material was also 8.5 out of 10. So can't wait to see Katie, Greg, and Josh again. Um, so yeah, I would say this show last night was, yeah, it was funnier than the show than Wednesday. Now, granted, both shows are great, but if I had to choose between the two, I thought the show last night with Greg, Katie, and Josh was a little funnier. Um, I did stay around because I actually signed on for another show after it was the Joker's Wild, hosted by Short Jake and Mikey Perry. Um, and it was a funny show from beginning to end. It did have some technical difficulties, but they said this was their first show to do Joker's Wild at the mic drop, and it's going to be a monthly thing. So, um, let's see. It started off with Short Jake performing with his bandmates. Great music and do some stand-up comedy while doing the music. So it's always cool seeing Jake do that. Um, and then there was a couple of comedians that went up, and then Mikey did his stand up, and then they kind of did a bit of a little improv between Jake and Mikey at the end. Um, and they even gave out a prize gift for anyone who did the some sort of dance from a Filipino Tagalog show. Um, so in the purse or handbag had money in it, and I think it was like I guess what's it called? Is it pesos or something, or whatever currency they use in the Philippines? Um, so yeah, fun show. Um, see, with Jake, I thought his performance was 8.2 out of 10, with a little bit of stand up and the music, and then we um, uh, got to meet Eric Esteban, funny guy. His material, I thought it was a 8.3 out of 10. Um, Funny stuff that he had. Great guy to talk to after the show. Got a picture with him. And then Michael Lai came up. I've seen him before at the mic drop. He was in the Gold Room. It might have been the Adorables show, dark comedy show. Um, his stuff. I remember some of the stuff, but then like I think he might have added on to the point where it actually got a bigger laugh this time than it did last time. But I think the stuff that he had was gold, you know. But Michael Lai, I think I gave him a 8 out of 10. Pretty funny guy. About talking about Burger King gift cards and doctor visits and cheese and elbow deep in buttholes and stuff. So yeah, funny stuff. Got the crowd laughing. Um, and then there was Mikey Perry. Funny stuff he had. I would say he was a um, 3 out of 10. Um, it's cool seeing him have a longer set, so I got to see like his more of his funny side. So cool guy, and he works at the mic drop. So if you ever see his shows, I recommend it, along with the other ones too, with Short Jake, Michael Lai, Eric Esteban, Cash Habib, James Schrader, Dave Wright, Veronica Gordon, um, Greg Romero Wilson, Josh Nelson, Katie K. Um, and then there was a headliner actually for the show, for the Truckers Wild. My first time seeing Maria de la Ghetto. Super hilarious. I thought her stuff was 8.6 out of 10. Um, I actually got to see her briefly at the Greg Romero Wilson show, because she came over and talked to Greg and me. And at first, I didn't know who she was at first until she introduced herself as Maria. And then I realized I've seen her name on a lot of these marquees for these shows here in San Diego. So it was my first time getting to see her. I'm glad that it all worked out, because I'm eventually going to see all these people that I've been seeing and wanting to see. So overall, good show from Truckers Wild. I wouldn't mind seeing them again when the next show comes up, and I would, it's a good time. I totally recommend seeing all of them. So yeah, um, so yeah, um, I before I forget, the Padres had signed Xander Bogaerts from the Boston Red Sox. So the Padres have